Hello, gorgeous, and thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and this is Hello, Gorgeous, Everything Beauty, Cancer, and Inspiration on Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. Our guests today are Hay and Erin Cressy. Cressy Consulting began in 2013 after Mickey and Erin met at a professional networking event. They quickly found their common interests and passion in developing people in their organizations. Shortly thereafter, they accepted their first invitation to create a leadership academy for an insurance agency that was seeking programs to develop their middle tier management. From this initial experience, Mickey and Erin realized how powerful this work can be for businesses and organizations. Their signature program, the Leadership Academy, is designed specifically for each client based on their needs. It includes monthly deep-level training on leadership topics, a workplace assessment tool for each participant that helps develop their self-awareness and ability to communicate and work effectively with others, and personalized one-on-one coaching. In addition to the Leadership Academy, Mickey and Erin provide executive coaching for leaders who want to grow their skills, as well as targeted professional development programs for teams that are ready for transformation. For example, Mickey and Erin have participated in 3 Hello Gorgeous annual team retreats and have helped them discover their personal why, work more in their zones of genius, and understand their workplace, their work styles, communication styles, and more effective team members. Now, for a little personal information about our 2 guests today. Mickey is passionate about learning and growth development. She teaches people being their authentic selves is the only condition they need to meet to be successful and loved in this world. Her PhD is in leadership, which is something she's always studied. Mickey has a 25-year career working in college where she found her passion for developing people. Cressy Consultant is her second act career, one where she gets to continue fulfilling her passion. Erin is a connector of people, knowledge, and ideas. She loves to collaborate, make connections, and create environments where people and organizations can become their best. Erin holds a PhD in social psychology, and she uses her keen understanding of human behavior and motivation to create impactful learning experiences. She also always had a vision of doing work that she loved that made a positive impact on the lives of others, and she's grateful every day for the opportunity to do just that. Cressy Consulting is based in South Bend, Indiana, and supports clients in areas such as manufacturing, banking, healthcare, nonprofits, and construction. Anywhere purpose-driven, emotionally intelligent leadership is needed, Mickey and Erin can help. Hi, Mickey and Erin. Thank you, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. We're glad to be here, Kim.
I am so excited to have you guys. So tell me more about the work that you do on a day-to-day basis with Cressy Consulting.
Well, every day is different, but we do a lot of coaching and training. So we train and coach leaders, like your intro said. And then we meet with people and we meet with each other to create curriculum, to develop plans for working with different groups, reviewing our upcoming client work, meeting and networking with others. Every day there's a great variety. Would you say anything different, Erin?
Yeah, the core of what we do is our training and our coaching. So every week is a mix of that. And then it's the work we do together to make all that work really well.
It's magic.
Well, and the thing that I love is that, working with you guys, I'm sure that even though you have your staples that you do every day, because you personalize the programs to whatever client is you're working with, I imagine it would be a little different every day, that's what keeps the world moving.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So
and
what what do you love most about the work that you do?
Oh, well, I think we sort of described it. I love the variety. I love that every day is different. It starts at different times. It ends at different times. The work is different every day. It's all around making this impact and helping people be the best they can be. But it's just a different operation every day, trying to make sure that we're being true to our why and helping our clients the best we can.
So I had an opportunity yesterday to be a part of a youth leadership program, and one of the things and I was thinking about you guys yesterday, because this youth leadership program takes these high school kids and puts them through an 8-month program. And what I realized yesterday is that all of these kids that were nominated for this program and then had to apply to be chosen, they all had these leadership tendencies in them. But this program really brought these leadership tendencies to the surface. And as I sat there yesterday and I was thinking about our interview today, I thought, you guys really do that too. You can seek out, you can see these people, that they have these leadership tendencies, and with what you do, you bring them to the surface.
Yeah, I would say our approach to leadership is that leadership potential and all the gifts and strengths that are necessary for that are within everyone, and it's a combination of context and skill and self-reflection and self-awareness and development to bring that out. So rather than having leadership reside within a title or a particular status within an organization, the idea that leadership is within everyone is I would say a cornerstone of how we approach the work. So there absolutely is that similarity, and that's part of why we love it. Is we get excited for everyone we get to work with, because we understand ways they can show up as a stronger leader in all areas of their lives and really have that make a difference for them.
So you said Cornerstone program. So tell me a little bit more about your Cornerstone program, the Leadership Academy.
Oh, well, the Leadership Academy is generally a 9-month program, and we will work with an organization or company providing group training experiences once a month. Everyone who participates in the program would take a workplace assessment. We use something called the DISC, and we would provide each person individual coaching, so that while we're providing content in the Leadership Academy training, we are helping each individual participant apply it, try things out and work through whatever challenges they have in their own workplace. Our whole way of operation, the whole cornerstone of that Leadership Academy is authentic leadership. So we're really trying to help people not act like a leader, but become a leader through their very authentic self. And overall, trying to create transformation, culture change within the organization that we're working. So it's great when we're able to work with people who have some influence in the company.
I love that whole phrase of authentic leadership, because I think that so many times that once people find that they actually have those leadership qualities, maybe they're fearful to bring them to the surface because it will change them, or they will, lose friends, or they can't be the family person that they want to. But you just become that leader that you're meant to be. And if you lead in a way that feels comfortable for you, then you get to be the best version of yourself. And I love that term, authentic leadership.
Yeah, we love it too.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit. So you girls have worked with my team, and this last year, we actually did the DISC training, which was awesome. They filled out the online form, and then you brought their completed DISC to our retreat last year. And it wasn't too much of a surprise as to where people were at, but I think that being aware not only of where we were, each individual was, but then as a team, we saw where every other person was. It helped us communicate better. So I love that you are connected with Hello Gorgeous, and that you can help us. So it's really not about the profit businesses. Nonprofits can benefit from this as well. So what are your feelings? Do you treat different, businesses different? Like, do you go in and do the same training for a profit business that you would a nonprofit business, or is that a little different for you girls?
No, generally it would be the same, because every business organization, not profit or for profit, needs strong leadership, needs people who, whether they have a leadership position or not, to be a leader in their, and by leader, we really mean someone who can operate out of their best self, their most authentic self, who can expand their capacity to be able to grow, to self-reflect, to be able to master their emotions so that they can be in service to those around them. That could be anybody, really, in any organization. So it's not really the core of what we do that changes from organization to organization. It may, however, be an evolution of topics and concepts as the longer we work with somebody, the more other things come out. Like, for example, let's say we're working with an organization where there's a lack of trust. Well, not every organization has a lack of trust, but if there is a lack of trust, then that's something we'll focus some energy on.
And I would,
go ahead.
I'll just add to that we have a couple core things that we bring to almost all of our clients, such as the DISC assessment. And then we always tailor what we bring to meet the needs of a given client. So there's some foundational pieces in what we do. And I think part of our strength is that we're this small and agile consulting company. So we really are all in to collaborate with our clients and really tailor the training or the coaching we're providing to meet their specific needs. So that's sort of a gift of the space that we're living in.
Right. So in other words, it's not like we have a leadership program and week 1 is this and week 2 is this, because literally, even though we have some cornerstone pieces or some core pieces of that leadership academy, we are creating it as we go, aligned with what the needs are that are emerging from the participants that we're working with. And so that's really fun.
And, and that's the one thing, so you have been at our retreats for the last 3 years now. And so Mickey, you and I always sit down and and Erin, I think you were in one of the meetings too this last year. And so we sit down and it's, okay, where do you want them to be? And how can we get your team there, which I have found has been so important. But the biggest thing I have found about my work with you girls is that it stays. So 2 years ago, I think 3 years ago, Mickey, you came and did the area of genius or the zone of genius. And our team still talks about that. So will you talk a little bit about the zone of genius and why it's so important to stay in that zone?
Yes, absolutely. We got the zone of genius from Gay Hendricks' work in the book, The Big Leap. And when I read that book years ago, it really touched me because in every work, there's always going to be some tasks that you do that you just really are not good at, but there's nobody else to do it and you hate doing it and you're not good at it and it draws your energy out, zaps your energy and you just hate it. And those are the things you complain about when you get home at night. And then there are things that you do that you're on automatic and they have to be done and you're not excited about it. And if you have too much of that, then you better start looking for something that's more engaging. But a lot of people live in a zone where they are really, really good and they're maybe working on all cylinders, but they're overwhelmed because when they're good at something, they get asked to do more and more of it. And maybe they get, good kudos, good affirmations for doing it. And that's a zone that a lot of people stay in, but it can also lead to burnout. And the zone of genius, or we also call it the zone of impact. Some people don't like to be referred to as geniuses. The zone of impact is really the intersection between what we're really meant to do. So almost an innate skill or talent and something that we really love, that we're passionate about. And when you can eke out some time in that zone, then your impact is larger, you are happier, work feels more like play. And a lot of people are not even aware of what could fit in that zone. And when they are, boy, watch them, because they're going to be bigger and happier and make a bigger contribution wherever they go.
Well, and I think it's a spiral effect too, because once you find that zone of genius or that zone of impact, then it's you don't realize that even if you spend a half an hour in that zone of genius, the ripple effect that it has on all the other areas of your life. But,
yes.
And I think it's the happiness factor of it too. You're happy doing that work in that zone of genius.
Yeah, it creates energy for even for everybody around you.
Yeah,
so,
go ahead.
You know when you're in it, right? You know when you're with him.
I know when I'm in it. Yeah, absolutely. I just don't take the time to be there as often as I should.
Well, let's talk about that next time you and I sit down together.
Okay, we will.
And I do want to add, it's if you can find zone of genius time at your day job. I mean, Mickey and I have been lucky enough to create a business where most of what we do is in our zone of genius. And some people can't get there. Some people are living in some of the other zones. And your life can still be a bit better, a bit more happy if you can do that outside of work. Maybe during your day job, you're a teacher, which is good, and you're content. And outside of work, you're a dog trainer, which you love and is in your zone of genius. So just to find that space someplace in your life to have a little more time where your passions intersect with your talents, that's really a sweet spot that can be a great place to carve out more time in your life.
That's beautiful that your passions intersect with your talent. That's so powerful because I think that's it. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean that that's necessarily your passion. So you're right. I think if you find that center area where those two places connect, that you're right, that would be the sweet spot. That's awesome. Passion and talent
and work
intersect.
is more like play. You
Yes.
just feel like you're playing.
That's right. That's right. So if our listeners could walk away from the show today with like one key piece of learning from their development as leaders, what would it be?
So Mickey and I both have an answer we're going to share. Oh, Mickey's was the zone of genius. That was
Okay. All right. Good.
That's her big takeaway that she wanted to share. And mine is the metaphor of the balcony and the dance floor. And this comes from researchers who wrote a leadership book that I'm forgetting right now, but I will think about it. They first identified this metaphor. And it's about, so often in our work, in our life, we're on the dance floor. So this is where the doing happens in our life, the tasks, the day-to-day, the emails, for me, the carpool of my 3 kids and the coaching and the training and the sort of all the doing, which a lot of times we really love that. And if we don't sort of intentionally take some time to get off the dance floor and go to the balcony, we struggle to really kind of solve problems, often to self-care, to see the big picture, effective, to envision strategies that could take us to the next level, to think about, how I can best support my daughter who's struggling in math class, or to think about what Cressy Consulting could do to get some more of our very favorite go with intention, gain perspective on what's happening all over the dance floor so that you can be more efficient, more effective, work more in your zone of genius. So it's a great metaphor. And we often find that people we work with are not spending enough time on the balcony. You could have the reverse with a leader who's on the balcony so much they're too detached from the dance floor. That certainly is possible. And I will say 98% of the time, we usually find the opposite. We find people so busy on the dance floor, they think they don't have time to kind of go to the balcony. And we would suggest that when you are most busy and things feel most out of control, that's the time when you should most go to the balcony, because you can sort of get some new information and some new awareness about how to be more effective on the dance floor.
And if I could add that I think it's important to go to the balcony on a regular basis. So some companies will have an annual retreat, for example, and that's all balcony work. That's could be strategy or, getting the big picture on what we're doing and what we're meant to do and what's our why and all of that. But once a year really isn't enough. I mean, Erin and I strive to have a balcony conversation or a balcony meeting at least once a week. And when it doesn't happen, really things that we need to talk about pile up. And so it's essential to schedule that.
I agree. And, it's interesting, I love the whole concept of balcony leadership, because if you think of a crowded dance floor, that your vision or the perspective of what you have is just, you're the same height as everybody else. You can't see anything. So when you actually get to, you know what I mean? And so when you get to go to the balcony, you can tell that half the room is blonde and half the room is a redhead and, 30% of the room is male. So there really is something to changing the perspective, changing your outlook on whatever that situation is by heading to the balcony as opposed to being on the dance. I've always loved that analogy, because people can resonate with that, because everybody at some point in time has been on a crowded dance floor. So I love
exactly right. And sometimes it's as easy as just asking a question. What's going on here? Can send you to the balcony. It doesn't actually have to be something structured.
No.
And it can even be a 30-second pause or 2 minutes before you're going into a meeting to say, what's my desired outcome of this meeting? Sort of a question to get you some more big picture thinking. And I will say, even outside of work in my personal life, I feel more weight and sort of more stress in our family life when my husband and I haven't had balcony time to look down and see what's going on and where we're going and what the plans are and where the kids are. So it applies, I think, to your personal life as much as it applies to your work life.
For sure.
Well, and I love that too, because, so many times you ask a question and if it's not a productive question, like being able to take a step back and like you said, even a pause, or what's my outcome for the meeting? Mickey and I have done some work together. And so she helped me really change my perspective, because there would be challenges and I would, instead of saying, why is this happening? I would stop and say, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this? Or I would become curious, who am I supposed to meet, or who am I supposed to impact? Or, so that's amazing. I love that analogy and asking those different questions, because giving you a different perspective will give you different questions. So I love that. I just love that.
For sure.
And so if we wanted to provide some value today specifically for women battling cancer, what would you suggest from your perspective of leadership consultants?
For women battling cancer, I don't think it's necessarily much different than anyone who's trying to be effective in their life. We really think it's important to practice extreme self-care, to be unapologetically selfish about your needs, your time, your boundaries, very clear about what's important and what's not important, what can be sacrificed for a greater good. And secondly, to address conflict when it happens. We see so many people, we work with a lot of people who, carry around grudges and conversations that they should be having with others that they don't. And that only puts a burden on their own self, their own psyche. And I think that women who are battling cancer should be getting rid of all of that, because battling cancer is a hard enough battle on its own, to not also have the baggage of conversations you should be having with people that are full of conflict. And then just saying no to anything that doesn't feel good or healthy. I remember when my sister was going through cancer treatment, and it was sort of a balancing act, because she still needed to take care of her family. She still needed to be present to her work. But it was really important for her to be able to say, I'm too tired today to even come down to dinner. Or I know that my family wants to see me on Sunday, but I really got to take care of myself on Sunday. So I'm not going to have people over. And women especially have a tough time saying no, especially when people are reaching out to them, to give support. But you should just take care of yourself.
I agree. And there are a lot of people that don't take care of themselves. And
Right.
So especially when they have to be about them. But women, as a rule, I think you girls would agree, we're just selfless. So we don't, we're not selfish. We're selfless. That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So tell our listeners, where can they find out more about Cressy Consulting? What's your web address?
It's www.cressyconsulting.com.
Okay.
CRESSY.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we are almost out of time, but I had a few more questions. I would love to have you girls back and talk about why is important. So if you if you love me enough, which I know you do, I would love to be able to have you girls back on the show again.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we would love it. We would enjoy
Awesome.
talking with you. You
Great.
bet.
Well, thank you, Mickey and Erin, for joining us today. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to share with us the work that you do. If you have any questions or comments, or would like to know more about the guests on our show, or more information about Hello Gorgeous, feel free to contact me at kbecker@hellogorgeous.org, or visit our website at www.hellogorgeous.org. We invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram. You can download our mobile app found in your app store. Thank you so much for joining us today on Hello Gorgeous, Everything Beauty, Cancer, and Inspiration. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and until next time, stay gorgeous.
Another beautiful day, walking in the sunshine, spending the time with you. Last night we had a good time, dancing in the moonlight and loving the night away. can't imagine what it'd be like. I can't imagine what it'd be like. I can't imagine what it'd be like without you. I can't imagine that.